Yes, welcome to the Pro Wrestling Weekly Podcast. Yes, my name is Broken Josh Burrell, and tonight, me and my brothers, Brother Nation and Brother Reapers, we will become the podcast of gold. Delete, 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 delete.
What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Pro Wrestling Weekly. I'm your host, Steve, also known as Steve the Reaper. Follow me on Twitter, which will be in the description down below. Now let's get right into this podcast episode. I am here with a member of the Wolfpack, Josh Morrell.
Hi!
And Haydn couldn't join us. We didn't hear from him, so he's doing well, though. He's preparing for a live stream, so that is why. So, I'm recording on location once again. I'm actually in my kitchen of my dorm room, and hopefully I don't bother anybody that's within my hallway. There's actually a good majority of people gone for Labor Day weekend, but I'm staying here to get used to college and whatnot. But it's all good, so there you go. Also, from what I heard, there was, well, actually, I heard it myself, there was an echo in last week's episode. So I'm hoping, now even though since I'm recording in this kitchen and I can notice a echo here, hopefully it's not as bad. So I apologize in advance. If I could put up soundproof stuff, I could, but I'd rather not risk any fine in case the walls get damaged. So we'll just roll with it. So, a couple of things to talk about in this episode. I kind of want to start off on a sad note, though. The Rosemary and Sexy Star incident that occurred last week, or this past week. If you guys haven't seen the video, basically Sexy Star put Rosemary in a arm lock, I'm pretty sure, and she just yanked and just put some major torque on Rosemary's arm and ultimately injured Rosemary. A lot of wrestlers were outraged by this, saying that she should be blacklisted. A lot of fans also said that she should be blacklisted as well, simply because of this incident. So, it's just sad to see that, you know, people go into business for themselves for no apparent reason.
Yeah, I totally agree. I actually watched the entire Triple Mania event, which is actually free on Twitch, so on the replay, so people actually can still watch it. But yeah, this was uncalled for, and yeah, I agree with everyone. Obviously, if the people in the wrestling business have said that she's basically out, then why have the fans got to disagree? Unless they're delusional fans of hers. I can't. I'll try not to offend anybody here, but this is a case of where if you're a fan of her, you're kind of the problem. Do you know what I mean? Of allowing this stuff to sort of happen. So, yeah, no, I completely discondone this. And when I saw it, I was literally enraged and almost went into a Twitter rant for an hour. That's what I was planning, but then I thought, no, she only deserves one. So, yeah, she deserves to be banned from any company. Well, even people in the Fed have said they don't want her anymore. If there was any interest, there is zero now. There could be minus interest, in fact. So, yeah, no, I think it was absolutely heinous. I think she should never step in a ring again. And if she does, hopefully maybe someone teaches her a lesson and does the same to her. I'm not saying to hurt anyone, but it's just to have gotten to a point where she's done it more than once. So she definitely doesn't deserve to step in the ring again. And that's saying from me, from a wrestling fan's perspective, but it's heinous. Absolutely heinous.
I mean, yeah, you're trusting someone with your life, basically, because wrestlers do put their lives on the line for people, for our entertainment, and you do something like that, it just doesn't make sense, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, no, definitely. Considering also putting on and expanding on that, people have died in the wrestling business. Recently, a AAA wrestler, Pero de I can't pronounce his name because I'm not very good with Mexican names, or in fact any other name other than English. But so Pero basically took a botched 619 or a 619 for Rey Mysterio and accidentally had a heart attack and died. Yeah. You know, your life can end like that in a ring. Imagine if that was her in a guillotine choke, right, and then cut off the air circulation and she died. Imagine if that happened. She'd be in prison. If that was a real fight, she'd be in prison. You know, I know it's less severe, but nothing like this should have happened. Exactly. Nothing. She should let go like a normal wrestler and celebrate the fact that she's the champion still, and she can go about her ignorant ways like that. But no, she did it very wrong. Very wrong.
So moving aside from something sad, I guess, depending on who you are, you'll find this good news. JBL is off of the SmackDown Live commentary. Now, it's not pertaining anything to the alleged happenings with Mauro Ranallo, but he is continuing his work with at-risk kids in Bermuda, I'm pretty sure. So, I mean, good for him. He's doing something good. He said he would still do tribute to the troops and WrestleMania and all that, but as for weekly commentary, he's not going to do that. I'm at a crossroads here because it's...
Ding dong, JBL's gone. Ding ding dong, JBL's gone. Ding dong, JBL's gone. JBL's gone, hooray!
So, like, I'm at a crossroads because, you know, he's doing something good, but the whole entire situation with Mauro Ranallo, it's like, oh my god.
Yeah, I was on the Fire Bradshaw trend, so see this. I'm kind of sad that the fact that he didn't get fired by Vince, but I'm glad he's maybe taking his assets to somewhere good and not bully other people.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm having a party.
Now the question
Everyone's
is,
invited, I'm joking.
Who
I'm having a party.
Because there's been some, people have sometimes been saying Renee Young should replace JBL for the time that he's gone, and I personally like to see that.
I wouldn't, because, well, the fact that we've got Nigel McGuinness on the WWE payroll, and he's not being used on some big show, it like baffles me. Because I think Percy, even though I'm not a big fan of Percy's commentary, but if Mauro's there to bounce back off him, at least he can get better. So I think Nigel should go to SmackDown. Nigel McGuinness. That's what I'd like to see. But if Renee did replace him, then that's great too. I wouldn't, but I would prefer Nigel because countryman and all that. Did the UK tournament perfectly. Does NXT good. They need to replace JBL with a heel like commentator, and Renee probably can't do heel. So Nigel McGuinness is perfect for that because he did that perfect in Ring of Honor. Does that perfectly on NXT with Bobby Roode's sort of him aligning himself with Bobby Roode. So then he can carry that to the main roster, maybe, so they can keep his music and turn him heel as well. And then Nigel McGuinness can be his cheerleader on commentary. I just think of the ideal scenario here. Yeah. So, big Nige.
Yeah, that'd be cool to see. Nice little call up for Nigel, but we shall see. So let's talk about Raw and SmackDown some more. Let's kick it off with Raw. So, first up, I'll go into the order that I have it in my notes, but Reigns and Cena will be facing each other at No Mercy, and their promo on Monday night was pretty, well, I'm going to say good, just from the snippets that I've seen. That was really good, actually.
Yeah, I watched the whole segment, so I can I can tell you basically where he missed off. So basically, they were quote unquote shooting. They weren't. It was scripted, except for the mic fuck up from Roman Reigns. Everything else was scripted. So maybe little bit after wasn't scripted as well, but most of it, 75% of it, I believe, was scripted. So yes, it's just the delivery that makes it seem more like a shoot, which John Cena can do. Which, believe it or not, controversially enough, I'm siding with Cena in this view. So, and that may be a shock to you because I hate them both. I'll admit that, but Cena can cut a better promo. That's basically all I'm basing it off of. So, yeah. But no, the promo was good. Sets up the feud perfectly. Why is it happening at No Mercy?
Probably because they don't... Well, if they're probably still going to go with Roman Reigns and Lesnar at WrestleMania for the title, I mean, I don't see why they're doing that.
They should make Braun the champion. I'm basically relaying what Haydn probably would have said. Braun should be the champion because Lesnar's going away for months again. I don't think he's doing Survivor Series either. So we possibly are not seeing Brock until January. So put the title on Braun, then maybe Brock win it at Royal Rumble, and then lose it to Reigns in their perfect scenario. I think it should be Brock versus Finn, and then Finn winning the big one after a match or two, like a big long feud for them two. That's what I would like to see. Because that was one of my dream matches when Fergal was in New Japan. So, yeah. But, yeah, I can see them doing a Brock versus Roman. And it's going to have to be at the WrestleMania that I'm possibly attending. What the fuck? I am booing Roman Reigns with the last of my voice that I probably will have after the 7 hours of wrestling. Like that, I'm going to be the most hardcore Brock fan at that point. Buy all of his merch, buy the Universal title with his plates on it, fuck it, why not? I know I've already got his plates, so I don't need to do that, but I'll buy the Universal title, put Brock's plates on it, and then take that to Mania. Or buy it at the Superstore.
So
probably pay more for it.
So in this match, Cena Reigns, you're going with Cena, right?
Yeah,
oh, wow.
I'm hoping so, yes.
See, I kind of like this because you have two of WWE's Golden Boys, and yes, I'm going to be a little insider mark, so in case you guys didn't figure that out from the past 38 episodes.
That's the only terminology they didn't use. Mark.
Whoa, you're right. They use other...
I think one of the only. Maybe there was a few more, like, gorilla position or, it kind of is used now because podcasts use it, which that gorilla position podcast, the UK one anyway, is quite good, so I'm not obviously chatting shit about them, but yeah, the only things they didn't use is gorilla position, mark. That's really it. I can't remember none of the other terminologies being not used. If you do, let us know. If they didn't use another word, let us know. Let us know, definitely. I'd love to be corrected on this one. Because no, it was a good promo. Like, I hate them both. I'm codenaming this the battle of the people who suck. Right. You can put anything in at the end. I'm not going to put anything there for you because you know what I'm going to put, and it ain't pretty.
But I like this match simply because it's two of WWE's Golden Boys, poster boys, whatever you want to call them, and it. Like it or not, these two draw money. You have two...
Cena does.
What did you say?
Cena does. Roman doesn't quite yet. Not as much as Cena still.
I know, but people pay to see Roman either if you like him or hate him. They either...
Yeah, maybe 100 people.
Yeah, it's a lot more bigger picture. You have your casual fans and then you have the hardcore fans. I mean... Hardcore fans want to see Roman Reigns.
Yeah, but I'm talking a strictly television basis. I'm not talking about live events. I'm talking about television. What earns the most money? Well, it doesn't really, but it's kind of the bread and butter because you've got the television deals where the advertising comes into play, which Cena and Reigns both are predominantly on. On the USA Network, all I see is Reigns and Cena from the SmackDown and the Raw things, and maybe a bit of Charlotte or Lana or whoever. right? But Cena and Reigns are predominantly the right people for the advertisement. I agree. They are customary drawers, but I'm saying at the moment Cena is still the top guy.
Oh no,
and Reigns,
not disagreeing at all. Not disagreeing at all.
Yeah. So on the basis of that, I think Reigns will win, but I want Cena to win, and I don't want it happening at No Mercy. This, if anywhere, if it happening at a B pay-per-view, I still call Survivor Series a B pay-per-view because it kind of is, kind of sucked in recent years, but it should happen at Survivor Series. If you want it at a minor pay-per-view, not WrestleMania. I don't think it should happen at a little pay-per-view like No Mercy.
Oh, no.
So, that's the only gripe I have with this, but the promo was good. Hopefully they keep up the momentum somehow, but because we've got like 2 or 3 weeks left until the pay-per-view. That's a long time. Oh, excuse me. That's a long time. So, we'll see how it goes, but I'm enjoying it so far. And I wouldn't have said that a year ago if this was happening a year ago. Definitely not if the brand split just happened. I definitely wouldn't be saying that then. So I'm changed. I'm a changed person, sort of. Maybe the brand split is tapered off so far, because Raw apparently is getting better. I still agree that SmackDown is the better show, in my opinion. Still, because AJ, and Shinsuke. I ignore Jinder because Jinder's shit, but yeah. SmackDown, for me as a person, the hours are shorter. The content of wrestling, in my opinion, is better. The storylines are crap, but everything else, in my opinion, is better. And the shorter show, just until Raw goes to 2 hours, I will always say that SmackDown's a better show. Once Raw goes to 2 hours, I'll give it more of consideration. But yeah, I think it's the best time to do them both now. Not in regards to the pay-per-view, but in regards to the time of year and stuff like that, to do it now. If they did it next year, then it might have been a totally different thing. So, yeah, they've captured it at the right time for them, not necessarily for people to kind of digest a feud, because we know it's only going one match. It's not going for a full feud, I don't think, anyway. So that's the only thing that spoils it for me. It's not going to be a long-term feud. So it kind of spoils who's going to win.
Here's what I'm going to say. And I thought about this morning. I'm going to go with Reigns to win.
Yeah.
But if I think in order to quote-unquote keep these guys strong, I think someone interferes. I mean, I thought about that for a second, but then Samoa Joe is injured, so it's highly doubtful he would interfere. So, I mean,
he could come down the ramp and have his music come up and come down the ramp, but then, well, it's kind of shit. But having a schoolboy finish from Reigns to Cena, because that'll get in the Ultimate Heat. Because apparently he's already a heel. Fuck off.
That's all based on perception. I agree with that. It's based on perception.
Yeah, I guess, but I just don't agree that he's a heel, a full-blown, because that's what people think. He's a full-blown heel, but
yeah, no.
He's a babyface. I think he's a clear babyface because he still requires admiration, which is a babyface tactic, and if that tactic is employed, then it definitely, where Reigns is a babyface. That's my opinion. I think he's still a babyface through and through, but just acknowledges the heel reactions and brushes them off like a babyface would. Like, say if Brock Lesnar was a babyface, he'd do the same thing. But that's Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar is much better, in my opinion, in every single way, because he has one thing: Paul Heyman. So, in my opinion, aka God, and the only God in this world. So, Well, nothing could do me wrong from Paul Heyman. Nothing.
We could debate Reigns as a face or a heel anytime.
Yeah, I don't want to anymore. But yeah, no, it'd be interesting because the fact that Reigns and Cena have, let's say, limited movesets. Let's see who can carry this match per se. If Reigns can carry a good match out of Cena and vice versa, Then we've got a good show, good No Mercy coming up. Yeah. But No Mercy last year was headline with AJ retaining the title, so it's going to be hard.
Now, does this match go on last, or here's my thing: it shouldn't go on last because you have Lesnar and Strowman for the title. The title should always be.
Fucking going to. It's fucking going to. It doesn't matter what we think. It's the two biggest drawers in the company. Of course, it's going on last. So it keeps people in the building. Keeps the kids in the building cheering for Cena or Reigns or both or whatever. Keeps the butts in seats. Obviously, that's a Tony Schiavone line that ultimately helped kill WCW, but this, mind you, WWE is losing a lot of tactics that WCW did. I don't know how they're surviving. Well, obviously, WWE has money and has a backing of its own, obviously,
There's
but
no other competition in town
except themselves.
Except themselves. That's a good point. That was like a mind-blowing point right there. Like, I'm not just saying that because it's true, because you have Raw, SmackDown, and NXT. You have social media that decides which show is better each week. So it is competition within their own company.
Yep. I think if there was a WCW-like company, like separate, say, well, I'm not saying TNA can do it, or GFW or whatever, because they can't. They are launching a network, apparently, in the United States. We've had one for about a year, but basically the service we get is coming to America and apparently all global forced out, so watch out for that. It probably costs $9.95 just to make it a little bit cheaper, and they've got less content. So how can they charge $10 a month? They can't. Not in my opinion, but yeah, no. There needs to be somewhat of competition. I wish WCW was actually still around, because then we'd probably get better TV every week if there's something like WCW around. But you know, hopefully some WCW that's not shit. So, but yeah, no, WWE needs to bump up their sort of, I don't know, either replacing the creative team or something, because WWE as a whole, for me personally, is quite boring. So, yeah, and having Cena and Reigns in a match proves my point. They have to do it now to get people interested.
Very true.
So,
following with the Raw theme, Jeff Hardy won a #1 Contenders Battle Royal match for the Intercontinental title and is going to be facing The Miz this Monday for the IC title. That is actually kind of cool.
It is, yeah. No, Jeff is a decorated Intercontinental champion before, starting on SmackDown. I think his first IC title was won on SmackDown, beating Triple H. So, you know, that can't get any bigger than that. So, I don't think Jeff's winning the belt. I think Matt's going to fuck him over somehow. And possibly they could go Woken, or as we know it as Broken. So, it could either potentially be the start of the Broken storyline. Woken, whatever the fuck they're calling it this week. Or they can do the club versus the Hardys at the pay-per-view. Because it's something for them to do.
You mean the Miz Taraj? Oh wait, no, you're actually
no.
At the club, right? Okay.
The Hardys. The Hardys in the club.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. I don't think Jeff's winning. If he does, it'll be a surprise again, which I think the IC title needs a little bit of a boost. Because literally his character just makes me want to. Obviously, I'm following with the program, but I'm not a big fan of the Miz. I never have. Even the promo on Talking Smack never enticed me to like him. Maybe a little bit, but no, the Miz is just a C word, to be honest. In my opinion, I just don't like. I was kind of signing with Daniel Bryan on that storyline because he only knows the basic moves. His character's stuck up, you know, and he was on MTV, and I have a disdain for people that come from MTV. So,
And he's doing his job because he's a heel.
exactly, exactly. See, I can boo heels.
Yeah.
I'm not an absolute heel. I love most heels though. Most.
They're not like most heels.
Oh, golden thing.
Perfect segue into the next topic.
Exactly.
Alexa Bliss is the new Raw Women's Champion. Nia Jax helped her, did a little evolution thing where they lift the new champion into the air, and then Nia Jax just wrecked Alexa Bliss. So, looks like we'll be seeing Alexa Bliss versus Nia Jax at No Mercy, or sooner if they want to give away a pay-per-view match on free television.
Hot potato, hot potato.
Let's talk about that. Wait, the Raw Women's title, it's like one big game of hot potato.
It's nothing.
Since last year. I don't get
Yeah.
it.
There seems like they don't want to make it prestigious. You know, we've got the Mae Young Classic coming up on Monday. We're recording this on Saturday. And, you know, even the NXT Women's Championship, you know, that was sort of pushed around a little bit before Asuka. And, you know, and Asuka's made it a more prestigious title than the fucking main roster belt. How the hell does that happen? You know, and the SmackDown Women's Championship, for example, that was, you know, Becky won it initially and then lost it at TLC. Then Alexa Bliss held it for a little while, and then lost it at Elimination Chamber, and then won it back, and then lost it at Mania. Naomi was champion until recently, till the last pay-per-view, SummerSlam, and obviously Natalia's holding it now. So this Raw Women's Championship feels less prestigious to me because it's swapped around like a bloody toaster.
It's very sad. It really doesn't make much sense. And it's even prompted Sasha Banks to speak out on it. She was on the Sam Roberts podcast, and she just... I'm paraphrasing here, but she doesn't really understand why they're doing that. And she thinks that it's due to something with her. Like, she thinks that she could have played a factor in her losing the title or something like that. And maybe that's true, but I don't if a title is being hot potatoed that much to the point where your talent thinks that they are doing something wrong, there's a problem there.
It means it's correct.
Well,
Because Sasha's attitude, no offence to her, over the last couple of months, from what I've seen on social media and on TV even, it's just been rotten. Like, it's not Alberto El Patron level, but it's just where, you know, yeah, fair enough, you shouldn't be bothered in airports and all that, but in, you know, public... Where even, like, in NXT, apparently, when they were showing a thing, all the other, like, Becky and Bayley said hello to everyone, and Sasha just ignored them all. You just don't do that. It's supposed to be a babyface, for fuck's sake. You know? It just angers me, the fact that that's... You know, Vince may have saw that and said, right, you know. I know we planned to put the woman's title on her, but we're only going to give her it for 2 weeks. Basically punishment. It's exactly what it is for doing wrong. They give you the title, let you have a sense of, oh yeah, I've done something, people are not mad at me, and then drop it 2 weeks later. Punishment.
yeah. So before we go to SmackDown, there's some news that I just saw. People have known that Ric Flair was in the hospital for a little bit due to a medical condition, and he just sent out a tweet. It's him in a video. I have it on silent, but It says, "I'm back. Thanks to everyone for the support these past couple of weeks. Yet I ain't dead yet, mother effers. Woo!" And he's wearing a T-shirt that says that I ain't dead yet, mother effers. So that's awesome.
If he releases an uncensored shirt of that, I want it.
That's awesome. Dude, Ric Flair's a legend. God.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm glad he's alive.
Yeah.
But please take it more easy, Rick. Please. We want you around for a lot much longer.
Yeah, just style and profile on a much lighter schedule, please.
Yeah. And obviously tone down on the drinking, but we know him, Rick. That never is happening.
Yeah.
But yeah, no.
Like, this dude survived a plane crash. Said he wasn't going to wrestle again, and he wrestled. It's like, God, this guy is...
And wrestled for nearly 30 years after that.
Yeah. Like,
and then retired, and then that stinky run in TNA. But then obviously coming back to the Fed, managing Charlotte, Yeah, no, he's had a brilliant career, and if we would have lost him, that would have been devastating, but I'm glad he's better. Definitely.
Yeah. He's still the same old Rick, which is awesome, so... He kicked out, guys. He kicked out. So, moving on to SmackDown. Randy Orton versus Nakamura in a number 1 contenders match for the WWE title. That's going to be this Tuesday, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so... it's new, but I don't want to see Orton in the title picture.
No.
Not again.
I could see this becoming a triple threat easy. Like on a SmackDown and then Nakamura. I think because I think Nakamura's going to win the title in Osaka, Japan because apparently they're in a title match, Jinder and Nakamura. So I think he's going to win the title there. I don't know when the event is. I will look that up as I talk. But I think I think Orton has a good chance of winning, but I think Nakamura will still win. But it's a 50-50 chance that if this event in Osaka wasn't booked and wasn't scheduled, I'd say Nakamura 100%. But they could give it away at a TV match, Because don't forget, they've got literally until next month, until the next pay-per-view. No mercy, Hell in a Cell. So they're probably going to give away a title match on the SmackDown show. So
hopefully they do something similar, like when they did the Beast in the East. I kind of hope they do a WWE Network smash. I can't talk today, jeez. I hope they do a WWE Network special in Osaka. There we go. I said it.
Well, from what I'm reading on this Japanese page, it's not a network special. It's only a live event. So it's on in Japanese time, the 16th of September. So it's 16th of this month. So that will be actually possibly the 15th. They're so far in front of us in regards to time. So in both of us, so that could be on. Yeah.
So in weekends, we could see a new WWE champion.
Yep. They'll obviously have phone footage of it and record it and put it on Twitter and all that straight after, but because they probably want more shock value than the thing, and also, kind of makes sense. Nakamura from Tokyo or Kyoto. It's Kyoto, but they're now building him from Tokyo. I heard Tokyo in his last entrance, so people from there want to travel to Osaka, and then they're going to make it a big thing for Japan because they've never had a Japanese WWE champion. In gimmick, Yokozuna counts, but in real life, he doesn't count. So a real Japanese WWE champion. So I'm guessing they might make it a network match. They might film just that one match, but I highly doubt it. But they should.
Yeah, they should.
But again, it's in anyone's court to win the shit. So.
So, that's all the topics that I wrote down. Well, except for that Ric Flair one. That was not on the list, because I literally just saw it. But that is going to wrap it up for this week's episode of Pro Wrestling Weekly. I hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, if you're on YouTube, please make sure to body slam that like button below. Subscribe to all of our channels. Links are in the description down below. Follow all of us on Twitter. Subscribe on iTunes. Leave a 5-star rating if you're that generous. Buy our merch from What a Maneuver. That will be in the link in the description down below as well. Thank you guys so much. Turn on notifications as well. And we will see you guys in the next episode of Pro Wrestling Weekly. Peace.